Thank you, Ali. We're getting ready to go into the next match here. We have Ilios, Gibraltar, and Numbani for our finals here. I have Elk with me again, casting, and I think we're just about ready, right? All right, so we're not gonna delay here. We're just gonna jump right into it.
Now arriving at Lijiang Tower.
This is not Ilios.
It's supposed to be Ilios. This is still semis? Oh,
Okay, so we're going into
right.
Lijiang Tower. Control center, really heavy quad tank and triple tank map. It'll be interesting if we see Junkrat. It looks like Junkrat versus Reaper. No, mine was not on. That's hilarious. Okay, so Control Center is a really heavy triple tank and quad tank map. I'll be interesting to see which teams play Junkrat versus the quad tank. It looks like Chicken Ranch Tacos are going in with Reaper. Don't know how I feel about that.
well, if he can get in, that Reaper is gonna do a lot of work.
So Chicken Ranch Tacos going with the triple tank Reaper with Lucio, and Beezy fans playing without Lucio here. I think this is a mistake. It gives you a lot less mobility, and rotating to the point is really hard. Oh, actually, they were just speeding. Swapping?
They got us again. We'll see if the Reaper can get in here. He's gonna be able to do. He's gonna be able to do a lot of damage. You're gonna have to just.
Yeah, that's fine. So still preparing to attack here, just waiting to see what they roll out on. I think BZ fans are going to speed and then swap back to Moira. Play triple tank with Moira and Junkrat. It's a little bit risky, but if they take White Room control early and win the first fight, they have really good control over the choke.
All right, so we're gonna see the rollout here. So we will see a Lucio on the side of Chicken Ranch Tacos, giving the positional advantage here. But the BZ fans are able to take control of this White Room. They have a more aggressive positioning here. They're using that Zen to really get that Discord orb out, as well as the Moira to keep him healed up. You notice they will have to back off quite a little bit, but they are really keeping Chicken Ranch Tacos stuck into this choke here. We do see them start to push in. They do find a pick onto Windows fans, so BZ fans really getting punished here. Quanzi kind of out of position here, getting punished, but he's going to be able to heal back up and join the fight again. And we see that even though they had the disadvantage, Chicken Ranch Tacos with that pick was able to rotate back onto point and take the positioning they need to win that mid-fight.
Yeah, so they lost their shield really early. I'm not sure how they lost the shield while playing the Junkrat. Oh, a huge pick. Huge pick by Sofan.
So we see Quanzi here try to come back with that Roadhog ult, but will it be enough to really bring him back into the fight?
So something important when you're playing Reaper into Junkrat or Junkrat into Reaper is because they're playing the Lucio with the Reaper pair, they have a lot more mobility in the fight, so they can really pressure Reinhardt, pressure Roadhog. Whereas BZ fans have to play a much more like poke-oriented game. I think they'd be better off if they swapped to Lucio and played a disengage more.
All right, great. So we see Chicken Ranch Tacos here with the with a few ults here, looking for that Graviton Surge, is that key ult here. If they're able to pop it early, they're going to be able to get the advantage, and they do. So they do pop the trans in response, preventing any real damage. They go for a Shatter, but they can't quite find anything as Window is able to block a lot that Shatter there. They try to follow up with a whole hog on that Graviton Surge, and it doesn't really find any picks, but it does manage to back them off quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that was just bad communication on the side of Chicken Ranch Tacos. Oh, they're going in with the Death Blossom and the Grav?
So they do manage to find two there. That's a good push for them. Chicken Ranch Tacos still keeping control of this point.
Yeah, Chicken Ranch Tacos started off a bit shaky there with the Grav. There wasn't really any follow-up, but Eco's positioning, going into BZ fans pushing, was able to get 2 picks with his Death Blossom. Really good value.
So we're going to have to see what Breezy fans wants to do here to repush. It's already at 71%, and they have yet to get control of the point. What do you think they need to do to come back here?
I don't know if they can retake through this Grav. They have no support ult for it, but I think they have to pick Zarya or just try to have their tanks get grabbed and just try to heal them through it.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see that Moira come in clutch with a lot of healing here because we do have this Grav coming up with no Transcendence to counter it. We do see them rotating through Right Room, trying to take that positioning. They have this Junkrat trying to spam out from White Room. Here comes that Grav that we were talking about. Moira is healing it. But Chicken Ranch Tacos finds a lot of picks in it still, but a big play out of Windows, finding 2 picks there for his team. Oh! But it's not quite enough, and that'll be the cap.
That's a C9. So I think BZ fans' issue there is you're playing Moira Zen, which I don't think is a good comp on Control Center, but if you're going to make it work, you really have to play more of a poke game and try to break the enemy's shield. But they were really letting Chicken Ranch Tacos just kind of dictate the pace and engage on them with the Reaper and just burn down their tank line. I'd like to see BZ fans probably swap it up to either dive or maybe play more of like a Lucio Moira style tank comp that's a little bit more versatile.
Yeah, and we've talked about the importance of finding the pick on that Moira, and you can see for a lot of that fight, Moira was able to do a lot of healing in the back line, you know, whether you can notice it or not, really able to keep the tanks up to do what they need to do, especially with that Reaper dealing high damage. The longer the fight goes on, the more he can just chug out damage. Really not being focused a lot of the time and able to get a lot of damage out because of it. So we're going to see them rotating here. It looks like Chicken Ranch Taco is going to want to go right to point. Obviously, with that triple tank, you want to really try to get stationed in. But Breezy Fan is going to beat him to it. They're going to be there already. They're going to look for this engagement as they are trying to running more of a dive comp. They find Dark Blood really early into the fight. So already a great advantage for Breezy Fans. It's going to look to Chicken Ranch Tacos to either disengage or try to find some sort of counter pick. As we see the fight start to break out, we see a bit of a positioning falling apart from both sides. We see people kind of everywhere on the map here, but Chicken Ranch Tacos slowly losing their positioning, and you can see that because of their main tank, they're not really able to push in confidently. And we see Senru here getting 2 boobs, really dictating the fight and saying, you are not allowed on this point today, finding huge picks off for his team.
Yeah, I think the interesting comp difference here is that the Reaper just got picked so early in that first fight, but he's back now. I think they're going to end up winning it.
So we're going to see the mid-fight still breaking out. We do see a Moira come out, trying to keep Chicken Ranch Tacos up. Diva from the side of Breezy Fans, not really finding anyone, but getting the remake at the very least. As this mid-fight is still breaking out, we see Valkyrie as well popped on the side of Breezy Fans, looking to try to contest this, and they do manage to get the cap off. So they're gonna look to try to stabilize here, but they did lose the Zarya on the side of the Chicken Ranch Tacos. So they're gonna look to regroup and probably combo with it. They do have a lot of ults to combo with this. So now, as a player, would you look to combo with that Reaper ult or that Hog ult?
Knowing the enemy only has beat, I'd probably look to grab Shatter. Because if they try to beat the grab, it's a really free kill, or you don't even need.
So they engage with.
Oh, huge eat by the Diva.
Diva able to stop that graviton. They pop a lot. Chicken Ranch Tacos popping a lot of ults here, not getting a lot out of it. Breezy Fans are able to really just take control of this fight and mitigate all of those huge ults.
Yeah, so that was the worst case scenario where you shatter one person, your grab gets eaten, and your Reaper gets Matrix when he tries to ult. I really think Chicken Ranch Tacos should try to swap it up. I do not like the Winston Diva quad tank. I think that this is bad into Junkrat Mercy because they can put out so much damage, just kind of burn you when you dive. It'll be interesting to see what they try to do with it.
So we will have the defensive ult on the side of Chicken Ranch Tacos here, so that should help them against in this push here. They do drop it very early to try to get in safely, but they're not quite pushing. You can see they're kind of just staggering at the entrance of this kind of choke here, and they're not quite pushing through. The Moira ult comes through, but they do manage to blow up the Junkrat tower, saving their Moira presumably. As we see that that Breezy Fans are starting to back up here, they're very low. They do find a pick on the Winston, but they're kind of forcing through this really messy team fight here. And we're gonna see a Genji Blade come out, see what kind of value they can find from it. And we see Chicken Ranch Tacos being forced out yet again, not really able to get in here.
I think it's still even on point, right? It's 5v5. I think Chicken Ranch Tacos need to back up, heal for a second, and then re-engage at around 90%.
Yeah, we can see the Diva backing up there to heal, but everyone else engaging, so you're kind of down a man there. And I think that they lose the Zarya because of it. You know, the Moira goes down, and that's pretty much the push there. And they really don't have the time now to regroup. They're forced to use this whole hog to try to contest, but it just isn't enough as they have man advantage on the point. And I think the sync between the push of the players just wasn't there for the Chicken Ranch Tacos.
Yeah, I think when you're fighting dive with quad tank or triple tank, they might be able to stall it out here for the Tracer to get back, actually. Zarya should be able to trigger OT and Tracer next.
So they do manage to get on, continuing this stall, but they're going to have to make a lot of work. They're at quite a deficit here, let alone just to cap the point. They're going to have to hold it for 99, even if they do manage to flip it. But they're struggling here a little bit. They're not quite finding the picks they need. It's 5-2 on the point here. Respawns are coming back in for the Ranch Tacos, but they are jumping off, and they do end up jumping off the point.
So something that's really important there, I think, is when you're playing quad tank into dive, you don't want to let them farm their ults every fight. You want to make sure the fights are quick. And because of how that first fight went, where they lost two. They lost their Reaper early, right, and they lost their Moira early. So the fight kind of slowed down and just let them farm the DPS ults off the tanks, and they just kind of held that ult advantage all the way through.
So I believe we are going to a pause here due to technical issues. So we can see this. We do see this 1-to-1 right now, and we see a lot of mistakes still coming out on both sides in terms of ult management. But we do see a lot of other good things in terms of target focus and positioning. You can see that the zoning there was really powerful, holding them out of that point.
Yeah, I think Beezy Fans played a lot better in the second round. It looked like dive also suited them more. With quad tank, they looked a little bit split. And especially with the Junkrat Moira Zen, I just don't think it was working for them. The Mercy Lucio, while like not common, I think was working pretty well for them. Being able to pocket their Junkrat, pocket their Tracer, I think it worked out well.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of finding their niche that they need. You know, in a way, almost not following the meta, but following what plays to their strong points. And you know, half the time, that's what matters most. Even in these higher level play, you can see a lot of teams running a variation of comps that aren't necessarily meta. But making it work. You can look at NYXL running the Orisa Hog on Oasis. You can see pretty much any Junkertown map. And a lot of different configurations here. So we're kind of seeing a little flavor of that here today.
Yeah, comfort picks obviously will always outweigh meta picks, right? If you're not comfortable on the meta heroes, why would you play them? So like, you kind of have this weird split in Overwatch where you have the meta comps that are best, and then you have what people are best on. Which is why I think you see a lot of meta innovations happen, because if someone's an amazing Hanzo or an amazing Reaper or an amazing Mei, you want to try to like incorporate that in your team and kind of get the best value out of it. So I think that's really where you see the most growth in the meta, is when you have people picking those comfort picks and beating the meta comps with them.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to a lot of the teams, and maybe some experience from you, the coaching staff. What do they do when you have that kind of comfort pick? How do they make that decision?
I think Zerg's a great example, actually, where his comfort pick is Widow. He's a very, very good Widow, and we try to like enable him on those Widow maps. So even if he might not be the greatest Genji or the greatest Tracer, his Widow's so good that we still try to put him in and we try to enable him in those situations. It looks like we're going into Garden, though, with Fair Mercy on both sides.
All right, so we're going to see what they can do here with this Pharmacy. Really looking to get that boop early on, see if they can find any early picks. They don't seem quite to find any, so it'll be an even mid-fight here. Looking like relatively identical comps, with the exception of the Junkrat versus the Genji here.
And the Zenyatta versus the...
As well as the Zenyatas. So we're going to look at Chicken Ranch Tacos. I think they have a little bit of an advantage here with that Zenyatta, as they are able to find the DMAC. But the Mercy does go down on the side of Chicken Ranch Tacos. But Kesley doing a lot of work on this Pharah here, as he does find the duel and does win it as well. Trade's going both ways, though, on terms of both sides here. But it's looking more in the favor of Chicken Ranch Tacos. So they are able to cap this point here. Just cleaning up at the end fight here.
So Beezy fans' comp is a little bit weird, where they're trying to focus tanks, but they can't really pressure the Zenyatta in the backline. So because Chicken Ranch Tacos have that Zen for the extra tank damage, I think they're going to be winning most of the brawls where he does not go down early.
Yeah, we can see the power of Zen with that Discord. If he's up all the time, you're taking that 30% extra damage all the way, like constantly throughout the entire fight. So even though they're the Breezy fans are trying to run this Junkrat, you're gonna have that Zenyatta just doing more work for them, as you're not going to be able to spam a lot of those tanks from the side of Chicken Ranch Tacos with that Junkrat. We do see a switch here from Meme Balls onto the Widow to try to take out this Pharmacy, so we're going to see what he can do with that. They are still running the Junkrat, however, so if you're the Beezy fans, how are you looking to get back in here?
I think you're looking to Valk and dive, maybe try to give room for the Widow to work.
We got Chance of Meme Balls out in the crowd, so we're going to see if he can find anything. But D.Va does find a pick on the Lucio early. Kesley really putting in the work on that Pharah. You can see he's getting a lot of kills, a lot of damage out. Finds the Widow, so Meme Ball's not able to take him out. And it's looking very promising here from Chicken Ranch Tacos so far. They are down in ults a little bit, with Beezy fans coming up with a few ults here that should be able to help them take it back. But Kesley's still holding on to this Pharah ult. He's had it very early and has neglected to use it so far, so we're going to see what he wants to do with it.
Even though ults are going to get used this fight, this really all comes down to if Meme Balls can win the 1v1 versus Kevzy. If he dies early without killing Pharah's going to have too much of an impact in this fight for them to really retake.
And they do have that Genji and the dive tanks to keep pressure on him. So we're going to see what he can do with this Visor here. He does have sights on, so he knows where he is. But the question is, can he connect the shot, and can he find an opening to do so? So we already see this barrier here getting in the way quite a lot, and he's kind of zoned out here, not able to get in. We do see the tanks brawling in the front. Already both supports down for Chicken Ranch Tacos, so great job on the side of Kwanzi there. We do see the barrage come out. It finds two, but he does go down for it. A couple ults here traded out, but it's looking, Breezy fans is looking pretty promising. The 4 on the point right now, contesting the 2 Chicken Ranch Tacos. They do end up using the Evo. They find the Lucio, almost evening things up a little bit. It looks like it's 3-2 right now.
They're going to come back with Transcendence and Blade, though. I think they should retake this easily.
Yep, so they do. We see the Blade come in. He finds the Mercy. He finds the DMAC. Can he get up on the Baby Tracer? He can. That's a great retake from Chicken Ranch Tacos, not even allowing the Beezy fans to flip the point. Meanwhile, Kesley doing a lot of damage on this Pharah still, just not letting anyone get inside.
Yeah, that was really good by Chicken Ranch Tacos. There's Zenyatta got dove early with Transcendence, and he had the discipline to know he didn't need to use it. He was okay with dying. His team played slow around the point, and then when they came back, they had Transcendence and Blade to no ults.
Yeah, so very good fundamentals coming out of there from the Zenyatta play, as well as Kesley doing a lot of damage on that Pharah. You know, and you know, we can see that Meanball's trying to run that Widow, very similar to a timely style, but not able to really find anything. And he spent a lot of the match just looking for a pick on Pharah, but couldn't quite find it. You know, so what do you do at that point? You know, you need something to make a play, but you can't quite find it. You know, as a higher level player, what do you do at that point? You
really only have two options into the Pharah Mercy comp. You either play Pharah Mercy back or you play a hit scan. Playing dive can work, but you need a lot of coordination. So I think it's either. I don't think the Widow was a good pick. He didn't really have enough room. I'm not sure why. If it was his team not making space, it's hard to really say. But I think you should just stay at Pharah Mercy in that situation and just play like the Pharah doesn't exist. Don't go for the Pharah duel. Focus the tanks. Try to win the ground war, and just try to kind of minimize their Pharah's impact.
All right, so we're going to be looking for Hollywood on our next map here. So based on what we've seen on that first map, what do you expect to see out of the comps here?
So Hollywood first point is pretty interesting. Orisa Hog can work pretty well. On attack, you can play triple and quad tank. I think Junkrat's a little worse on this map, if not a lot worse. I'd like to see some dive. Personally, I'm a dive fan, but triple tank, quad tank can both work on attack. You can play Junkrat with Orisa Hog on defense. I think Hollywood's a really good map for that because first, second, and third are such different points. You get a lot of comp switches. All
right, so we're going to look in here to kind of see what we're going to pick here. So you know, the Beezy fans, they did have a strong showing. You know, they did lose the last map 1-2, but they look promising. So you know, we can kind of see that they're not maybe as flexible as Chicken Ranch Tacos. So you know, what can Chicken Ranch Tacos do to kind of take advantage of that?
So I think the reason Beezy fans were losing is because they were getting a little over-eager with their ults and their comps were kind of weird. I think they just need to like calm down, pick a comp, kind of run with it for a map and take disciplined fights. Especially if they can get a snowball going in streets, like if they win first point and they have a couple ults up, as long as they don't overuse in streets, I think they'll have a really good shot this map on the attack.
All right, so we're gonna see if that discipline can come in here. You know, even those playing ladder, playing ranked, playing scrims, playing pro, those fundamentals come into play regardless of the skill level you're at. So we're gonna see, you know, if they can hold true here and really bring it back. So
it's interesting to see Junkrat on attack and McCree on defense here in the triple tank comps. Normally that would be reversed. The McCree is a much more offensive hero. You want to be making space for him and letting him go for like flanky plays where you can try to get flashes off. Whereas the Junkrat is much more trying to spam and lock down chokes. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out here.
Yeah, do you think that's a comfort pick? Do you think that's
I think it's a comfort pick on the McCree, and the Junkrat is just kind of fine in tank mirrors.
Yeah.
I hope he pops off on McCree. If he's going to stay high ground and doesn't get pressured, I think it'll go well for him.
Well, we've been seeing Kate play Junkrat a lot this series so far. As well as we've seen previous McCrees on Hollywood do a lot of work on that high ground. So we're going to see if he can do the same. You can see he's already at 31%, and he does find a pick already onto Kwanzi. So that's already going to be a fight. They're going to take this fight very decisively. Chicken Ranch Taco going in very aggressively. The Zarya does get charged there, but they are looking to get these picks in their favor. But it's getting relatively even trades. Both Ryans really doing a lot of damage here in this confined area. The Moira just wasn't quite there to heal up his team, but it will look like the Beezy fans are going to back up here. They did get the pick, so if they can regroup quickly, they might be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah, it was a little unfortunate. Kwanzi went for a flank hook when his team went alley, hoping no one was looking, but the Chicken Ranch Tacos kind of sat point and waited for him.
So Beezy fans already in here, taking advantage of that respawn. We do see a Shatter try to come out, but it is blocked by Window, able to stop it. He does retaliate with his own. He finds 2 or 3, and he's able to take down Dark because of it. We see the Moira popped out here from Breezy, trying to keep his team up. And you see that huge healing coming in. A Hoggle coming out, try to zoning the point. Does manage to take a pick on the enemy Roadhog, but does go down for it. As we do see Breezy fans find the feature picks they need, and are just going to clean up here on the point.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a greedy retake. Oh, huge grab coming out.
Do they have the follow-up for it is the question. We see Ryan coming back in here with the beat drop to keep him alive. Not enough damage to quite follow up on it, but it might be enough to stall for their respawns to come back in. Another offensive grab comes out. And it's huge. There's a big pulse bomb coming out.
Yeah, I really think this fight was... It got really messy towards the mid-fight, but the retake with the grab and then that pulse bomb is just so huge. Especially for ult tempo-wise, like, they have another Shatter up, they have Moira ult up, they have grab up in 50%. That fight was really crucial for them to win.
And, you know, maybe something we didn't notice, but he did a lot of work on that Tracer. He had switched from McCree originally, so really building up that pulse bomb quite quickly.
It'll be interesting to see how they use Tire here to retake. They might just use it to make space, or might try to bait them in. I think it's really hard to use here offensively.
So another Shatter coming out from the side of Ranch Tacos, but it's not quite able to find anything. It goes down for it, interestingly enough. The Moira ult and the Roadhog, and the Junkrat Tire from Beezy coming out. Not quite able to find anything. Kezzy finds the kill on the Junkrat with the Rip Tire. Still be down. A big grab out of IKO. And another Pulse Bomb from Kezzy. Really cleaning up on that. You can see both the Gravitons and the Pulse Bombs being farmed up so quickly here.
Yeah, Darkbird keeps getting a little bit too aggressive in the early game, like in the early stage of the fight, and kind of feeding, to say the least. Like, he's pushing up, he's losing his shield, and his team's not really behind him. I think he should play a little bit more back. But Kevzy is doing a really good job getting those backline picks and really pulling the fight back for them. Yeah,
and we can probably see that IKO is getting quite a bit of charge from the Reinhardt at the very least. We see a bomb coming over here from the top. It isn't quite able to find anyone, but it does shatter that shield, and when they're able to get a hook for it, we really see the Beezy fans pushing in here, creating a lot of chaos and a lot of room, with the Junkrat finding a lot of damage in. We do see the defensive Roadhog ult come out, trying to zone them out, but it doesn't quite be enough. He's getting dove, and he goes down for it as Kwanzi finds a good pick on him.
Yeah, so that fight started off really, really well. I hope they can clean it up and not let it get retaken like last time. Only needing one tick makes it a lot different. So great secure by them. So as they push into the point there, once again, they use the Diva Bomb kind of to isolate the Rein and then just go all in on the Rein, right? They use speed. They just try to kill him as quickly as possible. I really think Chicken Ranch Tacos have to watch out for this and like save their bubbles, save their speed to try to keep him up because he's taking a lot of pressure in these fights.
So we do see a switch onto a Widow now from Kevzy. We've seen him do a lot of work on the hit scan, both McCree and Tracer. So we're going to see what he can get done here. Now, there is a lot of tanks. You are running this triple tank, so you're going to have to look onto a pick onto that Moira, Lucio, Junkrat. So it may be a little difficult here, but we're going to see what kind of angles he can find and try to get those picks. Meanwhile, on the front, the tanks are really brawling out, and that lack of DPS is starting to show as BZ fans are able to push straight in. The big grab comes out. They do beat drop to try to save it, and a huge shatter, though, to follow up, and that's going to be a clearing ult for BZ fans. That'll be streets for them.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I said they needed to do. They had to cap first point, not overuse ults. They got beat out in that fight. That's huge for them. They can totally cap this next point with just Diva Bomb and Junkrat Tire. Maybe beat, but unlikely.
So we will see Kevzy return back to the Tracer here. It was, it was worth a shot. They're using Moira ult here just to get out of the spawn. But a huge tire finds a pick, finds 3 picks to end that fight, and they will take streets with just 1 Rip Tire.
That's an insane ult economy snowball. Like now they have beat, they have Moira ult, they have Diva Bomb. This fight in third is going to determine the game. If Chicken Ranch Tacos use their grab and don't secure the fight, they're going to get capped.
And you can see Kai on this Junkrat for most of the series here, and he's really found his niche, almost like the Jake-Rat of this series here, finding a lot of value and really starting to learn how to play with his team and take advantage of it. But a big shatter comes out from Dark. They try to save him with the Moira, and it looks like it'll be enough to keep him up. So a really clutch play out of Stickman there to keep his team alive. But a grab comes up from Aiko, doing a lot of damage. They do use beat drop to try to save him. He's at 100 charge. We're looking at him trying to beam down people, but he's kind of caught out here. His healers are able to get to him. He does find a kit to heal back up. A shatter comes out, but it looks like the frags are going in the favor of Chicken Ranch Tacos. And they're going to be able to stabilize here, pushing them all the way back to spawn and re-establishing their defense.
It is good for Chicken Ranch Tacos that they win that fight. They used grab, they used shatter, and now they have 4 ults coming up, so it should be pretty easy for them to stabilize here. They just have to watch out for Mean Ball's grab. If he hits a 3 to 4 man with that shatter, it's going to be lights out.
Yeah, so now if you're Beezy here, you're down in ults, what do you got to do here? Dry push?
I think you're just trying to farm grab. Like, you can eat through any of their ults with the Graviton, you just have to get it off.
So we do see a nice stick out of Kevzy to take a pick onto that Junkrat. So that's a lot of damage out of the way. And it looks like they're going to choose to engage here to try to get some of that damage out. They use the Moira ult to continue this fight.
Yeah, Beezy fans should just disengage, wait, play it slow. You grab Tire up, that's going to kill through even sound barrier.
They do pop the grab now. The beat comes out to try to save him. And a shatter follow and a huge Rip Tire again, cleaning up the fight. That'll be all that they said. Beezy fans pushing back in for the last section of streets. Chicken Ranch Taco will have very little time to regroup here. They're going to have to come out really strong and try to take back the point from BZ fans.
So that was flashy, but that was 4 ults for 1. So it's going to be hard for them to finish here.
Now they do have the positional advantage, but they're forced to back up already. We see the Diva Bomb come out, and Chicken Ranch Tacos, while flashy, doesn't have those ults now, and it's really starting to show. We can see that the Breezy fans are coming back in here. They're finding the trade picks, and that's what they want.
Yeah, I think if you're BZ fans there, when you go for that grab play, you can't use Moira ult, grab, Tire, and shatter. You probably got to save 1 to 2 of those ults, probably the Moira ult and the Tire, to try to close it out there, because Chicken Ranch Tacos just got to retake. They only used Diva Bomb, and now they have 4 ults to try to hold.
So this is going to be a little rough for Beezy fans. We're going to have to see what they can do to try to mitigate the damage from these ults. We've got a lot of high damage ults coming out from Chicken Ranch Tacos, and we're going to see how they use to use them. They use the Moira ult again to engage, so keeping their tanks way healthy. Already finding a pick on Senru on that Lucio, and just healing up the team. They're really forced to back out here. Beezy fans may not have another chance to get on here. They're really running low on time. And again, Chicken Ranch Tacos didn't even use the grab bomb there. They were very, very efficient with what they used.
This next fight's all on Eco. If he hits a huge grab and Kebsy's able to get off the bomb, it should be a good fight. B can kind of counter it, but unless Kwanzi eats the grab here, they should get held.
It's going to be rough for Beezy. They're going to have to be really efficient on this. We see B come out very early from Beezy. The grab comes out in the back line. Where's the pulse bomb? There it is!
Bomb.
Huge pulse out of Kebsy to clean up that match. We see just the cleanup here. Great play by Chicken Ranch Tacos, really coming back. Able to defend there. Solid play.
I think on first point, Beezy's team may have lost a little bit too much time. That one retake they got when they were already capping 2 ticks, I think was a little over-eager of them. They should have been playing more defensive on point and ready for that retake. And then on third, they're using all those ults in one fight. Unless it's the last fight, I think it's a bit too greedy.
So now, I think the advantage now is kind of in the way of Chicken Ranch Tacos. You've seen their really good ult advantage, and it's going to come a lot on the attack to be able to take those fights decisively without overusing. So I got to say, I think they have the advantage here on the attack.
Yeah, their ult economy looked really, really good on defense. They weren't overusing. They were staggering their ults in fights, so they didn't, burn 2 ults at a time. Their grab pulse bomb combos looked really good. I'm excited to watch them attack here.
All right, so we're just getting ready here to move back into switching sides here. While we wait, we see that Cafe High Ground used. So now, Kevsy doing a lot of work on that hit scan. He opts to switch to the Tracer. Obviously they has to get back quicker. Do you think it would have been more valuable for him to stay on that hit scan and try to hold that Cafe area?
So you can look at it a couple of ways. He died late in the fight, so trying to get back on something like Junkrat or McCree is just not really effective, right? It's going to be 20 seconds. So you're kind of betting on your team to win that fight for you. Whereas if you go Tracer, you get back in the fight, you can build bomb, and he did actually. He built bomb in that one fight, got 2 picks. So it's one of the comfort pick things. It's maybe not the most ideal swap, but he did it and it worked, so it's hard to fault.
All right, so we see that again, that choice between meta and comfort, but he made it work. He had a great pulse bomb. The play between Eco and Kezi there doing a lot of work with their combinations, as well as really good on saving them as well. They were used at the right time. They weren't overusing, so really solid play coming out there. So we're going to see what Beezy fans can do here on the defense. They're going to have to be really careful because they have a lot of Chicken Ranch Tacos has a lot of ults, big ults, tanks having those huge damage ults, a lot of power to them, and they're going to be running this quad tank here. So they have the Ana, they have the Junkrat. Will it be enough to stop this quad tank?
If Chicken Ranch Tacos can't shut down Junkrat or Ana, I expect them to get held. It's so much more healing than Chicken Ranch Tacos have, and it's so much more damage. The advantage they have is mobility. Huge pin coming out early.
Really big pick onto window there very early in the fight with a very aggressive push from Chicken Ranch Tacos. They're going to go in with that pick, and they're going to find what they need already, taking a very decisive fight. They do lose a few players here, but it's going to look like decisively in the way of Chicken Ranch Tacos, so a very solid push out of them.
Yeah, that was done very well. They used their mobility. They went in quick. They shut down the Ana. They made sure the Junkrat didn't get to spam. I think they played that really well.
All right, so no contest coming out of BZ, so that's really good for Chicken Ranch Tacos. We can compare, though, that even though Chicken Ranch Tacos did win that fight, look at the ult charges out of BZ fans. They're getting a lot of charge off of these quad tanks. We do see Kezi switch up to this Tracer, a role he's felt very, very comfortable on for a lot of this series. So we're going to see him try to build up in time for Ico. He's got a 50% ult charge lead on him, so he's going to have to catch up, but that Tracer bomb comes up very, very fast. So we're going to see how fast he can get that up, and we've seen it before. Let's see it again. Let's see those grab bombs.
They're really playing for the shatter here. He's trying to break his shield, but huge pick by the Junkrat.
Able to take him out. A huge fight. Look at that 2K for him. Able to snowball the fight back in his favor, and that's really what BZ fans needed to throw this fight back in their favor and restabilize here.
Yeah, so that's a really important pick. I think Darkbird just got a little bit over-aggressive, tried to go for the shatter when his shield was low and got burned by the Junkrat. The Tracer pick is just unfortunate. Sometimes you blink into traps.
Yeah, so that's rough there. Not only do they lose the shatter, BZ fans now has an ult advantage with Rhine Shatter, Riptire, as well as Moira ult. Coming up to this grab, too, as well. So if you're looking at meme balls now on this Zarya, what are you looking to combo with this grab?
I think you want to save it here. Grabbing this early when they have spawns. Okay, never mind. Going for the grab, getting 2. Going for grab this early when they still have spawn advantage is less ideal than grabbing later in second.
Yeah, and we can see there that, you know, although they were able to...
Whoa!
A huge bomb out of nowhere!
That's,
really sets that fight way in Chicken Ranch Taco's favor.
Why combo ults when you can do that? It looks like Chicken Ranch Tacos are swapping full dive here, too, to try to snowball in second.
Very decisive pick there. That was a really good pulse bomb out of Kevzy. Really solid on that Tracer. Quite the player to watch here. You know, Aiko as well, setting him up a lot of the time as well. We are going to see a switch up here for Aiko onto the Genji, so we're going to see a really aggressive dive coming out from Chicken Ranch Tacos, and I think that's going to work for them. They've been doing really well in this aggressive push. We see the Junkrat Tower come out, and it finds 2 in the back. No supports for Chicken Ranch Tacos. That's going to be it for them. You know, and a really good use of ults. Only 1 ult to stop that fight, finding both supports in the back.
Yeah, Chicken Ranch Tacos, though, have a good chance of retaking here with Beat and Moira ult. They just have to make sure they don't beat too early. You want to beat mid-fight. If you beat early here, BC's fans are just going to back up and wait it out.
So we have a lot of ults coming up to this next fight. So we're going to see how they choose to use it. And it's not so much how many ults you commit to this fight, but the value you get out of them. So we're going to see how Chicken Ranch Tacos chooses to attack here. They do try to take this high ground a little bit from Kwanzi, but Kwanzi very quick to jump down and counter dive onto Chicken Ranch Tacos. They do use the Diva Bomb to try to DMAC and remake. They find the pick onto Kwanzi. Kwanzi pops his own ult. Not quite able to find anything there. It looks like it's a relatively even fight. We see the Moira ult come out on the side of Chicken Ranch Tacos, try to keep his team alive. Kevzy again with another stick, able to find a kill. Aiko as well, cleaning up kills. Really solid dive coming out from Chicken Ranch Tacos, really sending Beezy into a real chaos where they're able to pick these players off one by one.
Yeah, Aiko and Kevzy are doing a really good job being on the same target, diving them together, and really cleaning up these chaotic fights.
And we saw that Kevzy just used bomb that fight, and he's already 40% to his next bomb. So really putting in the damage for his team here and grinding up those pulse bombs to get key picks.
This is going to be really on Aiko here. He has to get off the blade through the Junkrat, the Zarya ult, and the Rein ult. If he can do that, they're going to have this fight.
So we do see the Junkrat tire come out, and the grab, and the shatter once again. Really flashy play, but again, they're using 3 ults here. So they're going to have a really hard time defending here from Chicken Ranch Taco.
I think BZ fans are going to lose this next fight. Now Eco has blade to no ults on the side of BZ fans. I'd be surprised if they can hold.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little rough here from BZ. They did need to stabilize quite a bit, but you know, it's very costly for it. So we're going to see if that's going to cost them the point in this next fight. So it looks like Chicken Ranch Taco's kind of taking a high ground here. We do see that Genji up on that high ground, kind of scouting, looking for what he wants to do with this. You know, there's a lot of tanks, there's a lot of health to burn through with that blade. It's not the easiest. You can't get that dash reset. So he's probably going to look for those squishies in the back. And we're going to see how the tanks allow him to enter this fight without getting picked too easily.
Yeah, they really want to pressure out this Mercy and Junkrat combo early here. Huge pick by Roan on the Diva.
We see the blade come out. He does end up finding Lucio in the back. We see the Diva Bomb from BZ fan. But Aiko in the back line, just taking people out. Not even on the point. They're opting to get these picks and then just come back for the point. A very smart deal. Not avoiding most of the bomb as well. Just getting out of there. And they're able to take this fight pretty decisively, as we said, with only using the Genji blade. So now the Chicken Ranch Tacos, even though they used an ult to win that fight, they've still got 3 more ults coming up.
Yeah, I think BZ fans need to swap off this Mercy back to a Moira. You're on triple tank, so you really need the healing, and playing Mercy into full dive without a Pharah or something is very, very hard. She's going to be the dive target, and she's with the other dive target being the Junkrat.
Yeah, so we can see BZ fans kind of panicking here. Not sure what they're looking for here. You know, Kevzy again finds a pick onto the cat to take an early pick, and that's going to be key for them to push in. We do see the bomb coming out from Rowan, but not quite finding anything here. And Dark finding a nice pick on the back on Lucio, helping his Genji really get the space he needs. We can see the tanks here already pushing way deep, ready to push him all the way back. Meanwhile, does have another grab for the retake here, but Chicken Ranch Tacos find the picks they need. It's going to be a really close retake here from BZ fans. They do have the grab time, but they may not have enough time to even get on here.
I don't think they get another fight here.
So we're going to see, we see the tanks from Chicken Ranch Tacos already pushing up, and they're not even able to get on.
I think Kevzy has to be the MVP of that game. He had some insane pulse bomb plays.
Absolutely. Kevzy playing insane, really finding value from pulse bombs, dishing out damage to that pulse bomb every single fight, and they just wasn't dealt with. And a well-deserved play of the game. So we're going to see this big back grab. You know, not even in the grab, you know, they're all just grouped up, and there he goes. He finds the quad kill that he needs.
Yeah, he played really well in the Tracer. All of his bombs were getting value. He wasn't getting picked. 17 pulse bomb kills.
Incredible.
Wow.
All right, so when we return, we will have the finals from the group stage.